Rewinders, I promise you, whoever scum did this, not one man on this ship will rest 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat and listen to this episode of the Retro Rewind podcast.
Reflux capacitor fluxing. Crew to stations. Scanning for The Naked Gun, 1988. Prepare to rewind in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome, Rewinders and new listeners, to the Retro Rewind podcast, where we take a fresh look at movies and games from 15 or more years ago. I am your captain of the pod, Francisco Ruiz, and I'm joined by your XO captain and mine. Actually, he's more of a lieutenant. And mine, Paul, the master interrupter of powers. I'm the captain.
Hey, Captain, I got a message for you.
I'm sorry. I can't hear you. Don't fire the gun while you're talking.
All right.
Also, for this discussion of the film The Naked Gun from the Files of Police Squad, we welcome back aboard ship's communications specialist, Ken Cummings. Hey, Ken.
How's it going? That bitch is, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm going good job. Yeah, like a gun. Let's go. Let's talk about it, Let's see whether it passed the muster of 20 years of 88, 33. My daughter was born in 88, so hey, there you go.
Ken's fourth and final appearance, because he's being mean to the captain. Just kidding. Welcome back, Ken. So you said this came out the same year as your daughter?
My oldest daughter was born in 88, yeah.
Nice. And then in addition, we are glad to have back aboard keeper of the VHSs, David Bobo Bobke. Welcome back. Yes.
Thank you. Good to be back. Still have the VHSs in good shape.
Awesome. And Dave, this is your third time on the podcast, so you have now earned the rank of shipman. Congratulations.
Thank you. Woo. Thank you.
What part of the ship would you like to serve on?
That's a good question. I haven't really considered where I should be. I don't know if archives are a thing. Maybe I should.
Yeah, we
there.
have archive. We have the archives
Historians.
and historians. Yeah, the historians.
Yeah, I guess maybe that's where I should be.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think Celeste Mora heads up that division, so you can serve alongside her. So good job.
Good. She can take the written stuff, and I'll take the
video stuff.
the old stuff. I guess.
Fantastic, fantastic.
I mean, I heard there was a opening in communications, but okay.
Joy Blogs died a little while back. Blew back of his head, clean off. Oh, so is his job open? That's a little foreshadow for later. Anyway, now that you've had a quick flyby of who we are, Paul, can you give us a quick overview of the production specs for The Naked Gun from the Files, a Police Squad?
All right. The Naked Gun came out in 1956.
Oh my gosh,
It's
Paul.
a Western, runs an hour, 9 minutes. It was directed by Eddie Dew and Paul Landry.
That's
Uh-huh.
good.
It's written by Jack Lewis, Ron Ormond, and Guy Tedesco. With lead stars being Willard Parker, Mara Caraday, and Barton McLean. All right. You ready for the production specs? Or are you ready for the box office
we're ready for the
trivia?
box office for this 1950s Naked Gun. Yeah, let's go.
All right. So the Naked Gun was made for about $8, and it went on to gross about $12.
Wow.
Now we know we're up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Paul,
Yes.
we want the 1988 The Naked Gun, please.
Oh, wait. Okay. Let's see. The Naked Gun, the Files of the Police Squad from the Files, that one?
Yes.
I think that's what you said earlier. Sorry, I
Yeah.
wasn't paying
It did.
attention.
So that would be the title to look up, I guess.
Yes. All right.
Yes,
okay,
thank you, Ken.
That movie is a Christmas movie because it was released December 2nd of 1988.
Oh, yeah, totally. Christmas movie.
Yeah, it runs an hour and 25 minutes and is rated PG-13 for some weird reason. I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about that later. It was directed by David Zucker, not Zuckerberg, and it was written by Jerry Zucker, his brother maybe, and also Jim Abrams and also David Zucker, with lead stars being Liam Neeson, what?
Leslie Nielsen,
Leslie Nielsen, Priscilla Presley and the quarterback O.J. Simpson himself. No comment. The music
Not the quarterback, by the way. O.J. was a running back.
Did Paul say quarterback?
Yes,
No.
he did.
I don't think he follows the tennis.
No, I don't.
Go sports ball.
No.
Continue,
sorry.
Paul.
Apparently there was a comment, just not by me. The music was composed by Ira Newborn. And now, are you ready for the box office trivia of The Naked Gun, The Files of the Police Squad?
From the files of Police Squad. Yes,
Sorry.
I'm ready.
The Naked Gun, from the files of the Police Squad.
Thank you. Ken
Period.
and Bobo, are you guys ready?
Oh, yeah, I'm ready.
I guess.
All right. And people here in chat, feel free to chime in as well. Paul, go for it.
All right. The Naked Gun, from the files of the Police Squad, was made for about $12 million and earned about $140 million in the box office
kidding me?
worldwide.
That's fair. That's fair. Not bad.
Yeah. Given this and the fact that it was released theatrically in 1998, how high in the box office do you think
88.
it ranks among the movies released theatrically in 1988?
Yes. Not
We'll go for
1998.
the top 50.
1988.
Top what?
Top 50.
Top
So, Ken, go ahead. What's your guess?
43.
43. Bob,
I didn't
how
want to
about you?
take Bobo's number.
42.
Yeah, because I always have to take 42. I feel like I get two numbers because I got to go 42. I'll go optimistic and say 7.
7. Okay. I'm going to
And
guess
42.
15. In chat, we have Cardinal guesses 27. And Ashley guesses 36. Paul, where did it actually end up being?
According to the numbers.com, the Naked Gun files from the Police Squad came in at 13.
13. Oh, look at that.
Captain wins.
Wow.
Who was the
Barely.
closest to that, I wonder?
Almost Bobo.
I was closer with 13, Paul.
Okay, I guess the captain
Someone
always
had
wins.
15, I guess, right? I think I heard 15. I'm not
Okay,
sure.
you set the rules.
The hearing loss I have, you know.
Don't want to bite the hand that doesn't feed me. Okay.
Oh, my gosh. Anyway, thank you for those factoids, Paul.
Yes.
And let's see if any of them factor into our memory mind meld or subsequent roundtable discussion, which we will get into once Alice has located our target film.
Alert, alert. Approaching target. Spoilers incoming. Establishing analysis vector.
This is the Police Squad. Leslie Nielsen. O.J. Simpson. This is not the Police Squad. Priscilla Presley. Ricardo Montalban. Mikhail Gorbachev. I knew it. And Reggie Jackson in his first dramatic role. The Naked Gun from the files of Police Squad.
Everyone should have a friend like you.
Rated PG-13. Starts Friday, December 2nd at theaters everywhere.
But does everyone have memories like that? I don't know. I guess we'll have to find out in our memory mind meld synopsis for The Naked Gun. From the files of Police Squad.
Yeah. All 6 episodes of that.
Who is Leslie Nielsen? Oh, don't call me Shirley. Wait, that was an airplane. And wasn't this movie, but resulted in Leslie Nielsen joining Police Squad in color, who is now a police officer along with O.J. Simpson. Leslie Nielsen falls in love with a redhead, Mrs. Elvis, or maybe it was Elvis's daughter. He finds out Khan is up to no good and uses a police tank. What about the end or climax? I don't recall what happened, but Leslie Nielsen arrests the bad guy. Freeze frame. Yeah, some of that was kind of right, but mostly it was just decepted.
Mrs. Elvis Presley, yes. Not daughter.
So she was actually
Yeah.
married to Elvis
Oh,
Presley?
yeah.
She was?
Thank you very much.
Here's a long
Was she
story.
really young?
Not for the show, but okay.
Okay. Based on those memories, as flawed as they were, what rating did they lead you to predict for this film before rewatching it? Classic, nostalgic, or tragic? Let's start with Bobo this time.
I predicted classic.
Classic. All right. Ken, how about you?
Classic, I'm pretty sure I watched this back in the 88, but then my memory doesn't hold much anymore these days. But
Fair.
I mean, my oldest I was born that year, so possibly watched it. Classic, I said.
Classic prediction. Okay. Paul, how about you?
I predicted tragic.
Oh,
I
other side of the
I haven't
spectrum.
seen this since like the late or the early 90s, so over 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember liking like Hot Shots better. So
Yeah, that's I'm sort of in the same camp, but not as quite as like down in the gutter
I had
as
no
you.
desire to watch it again, so I predicted tragic. Okay.
I predicted nostalgic. I remember thinking it was fun at the time, but like you, Paul, it's been like at least 30 years since I've seen it.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see if those predictions come true. But first, let's get into our discussion of the things we liked most about The Naked Gun from the files of Police Squad. Let's spin up our best three things. And let's start with Ken this time. What's one thing you liked about The Naked Gun?
Leslie Nielsen.
Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah.
All right.
He, it's one of the things when you go. I mean, I first saw him. I think it was an Airplane, obviously, like the late '70s, right? And you think about him being this comedy guy, right? Yet before that, we started looking at his older stuff. He's not. And you're like, wait, what? And he was like, I didn't know he had a career before he did comedy, and he was just a almost perfect straight man.
Yeah.
The way he did, right? So I mean, I said Leslie Nielsen was so perfect in the role.
Nice. Bobo, did Leslie Nielsen make your like list as well?
I may come back and mention Leslie in a little bit.
Yeah, he wasn't that good. I agree. So
yeah.
what was something that was on your like list?
Another thing, actually, that I particularly enjoyed right from the get-go was the opening with the car driving during the opening credits.
Oh, right.
Yes, yes.
Going onto the sidewalk, ending up on a roller coaster is just tremendous fun and put me in a great mood for the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
And I loved the engine. I was imagining, okay, so if I was a filmmaker, how would I do this so that it would fit through doorways and still make it look like the top of a police car? I imagine it was some like high cart that was just able to fit through doorways and stuff and had the rotating light on it. But yeah, I thought that was just so whimsical and fun. That made my like list as well. Paul, it sounds like it did for you too.
Yeah, that was, I put, look, if you're going to waste my time with credits like most movies do, this is a good way to do that.
Okay.
It's a nonsensical, fun way to do credits.
Yes. Well, Paul, was something.
It started off as got good, and then from there on in,
We'll see.
But I'm going to actually just sort of alluding to what Ken just said, but also carrying off of that opening credits with the light. I also really enjoyed the theme for The Naked Gun.
Yeah, the music.
I thought that was just fun.
Yeah.
It felt detective-y. It felt fun at the same time and comic-y. So I definitely liked that theme.
It had the jazz, almost like a Pink Panther kind of.
Yes.
flow to it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Paul, let's go back to you. What's something else you liked?
So I put for my number 2 was the humor, especially the wordplay humor. So just the different puns, and I have about a 30-second snippet of some of my favorite lines right here.
Lieutenant, the feeling is mutual.
Cuban?
No, Dutch-Irish. My father was from Wales. He's in the intensive care ward at Our Lady of the Worthless Miracle.
Same old story. Boy finds girl, boy loses girl, girl finds boy. Boy forgets girl, boy remembers girl. And girl dies in a tragic blimp accident over the Orange Bowl on New Year's Day.
Good year.
No, the worst.
Can I interest you in a nightcap?
No, thank you. I don't wear them.
Dread it.
Frank.
You're both right.
So I thought the dialogue was very well written. A lot of witty lines there.
Sure. Yeah, witty. Bobo, what was something else you enjoyed?
Actually, the second thing I have on my list is the writing.
Okay.
And I grew up with some of this kind of stuff in the house and my mom still does this where she'll like offer me a sandwich or something and say sandwich, and I'll say, yes, it is. So the writing's absolutely phenomenal.
You know what? That is very reminiscent of the Airplane humor of like Don't Call Me Shirley. I need something. What is it? It's something. It's this thing, but that's not important right now. That whole sort of plays with your expectations for what the answer is going to be type of humor, and that had its comedic element for sure. I can see why you guys liked it as much as you did. Ken, did the Ryan make your like list as well, or was there something else you enjoyed?
but it should have. I mean, yeah, you guys are right. Okay. No, I have written down the Jane and Frank love.
Oh,
You know, the romance between the two. You know, the whole.
It's sweet. It is sweet.
You know, the fact that these two lost souls are wandering in the ships in the night and they meet each other. Anyways, yeah.
Yeah, I like how they played it straight for the most part between the two. Yeah,
and you know what? I did enjoy in a way the whole something tells me I'm into something. How they sort of made that as a music video, even with the thing at the card at the end. I thought that was fun and cute. I don't think this made my dislike list, so I'll just say this here. Them spraying each other. Like with the ketchup and mustard and then spraying the poor guy. I'm like, how is this funny?
That poor guy.
This is not cool. This is mean.
I thought it was funny.
You're being mean.
So he laughed, right? He started laughing too.
Yeah.
Oh,
he was having a good time.
I don't remember that. I remember him not feeling good about it. Okay.
Then comes the lawsuit.
Exactly. Anyway, now let's get into the things we liked most. Our classic makers for the Naked Gun. I'm going to swing to Bobo this time. What's your favorite thing?
I'm going to swing back to something Kennethan said, and that's Leslie Nielsen.
Okay.
This is not the same without Leslie Nielsen.
That is very true.
Yeah, it's. I mean, having seen only a little bit of his dramatic stuff from earlier on, I'm more familiar with the comedy stuff. But he just having a guy who can play it straight in this type of a comedy is terrific, and Leslie Nielsen's about spot on perfect with what Frank Drebin needed to be.
Yeah.
I could see that. Yeah, it would be hard for me to picture anyone else in that role for sure. I'm curious though, given that if you, and this could be for Ken as well, since you really liked Leslie Nielsen, if they were to reboot or remake the Naked Gun today, who do you think would make for a good? And Paul, you could answer too. Who would make for a good Leslie Nielsen or Frank Drebin character? Does anyone come to mind for you?
Wash from Fire, like the actor's name.
Alan Tudyk. Alan Tudyk.
There you go.
Alan Tudyk would be great.
I could see that. Yes, totally.
That's hard to beat that one. Yeah,
but he doesn't have gray hair, so
you can put a wig on anyone. Okay,
yeah. I suppose that's true. Bobo, anyone coming to your mind?
I don't know who acts anymore, so most of my favorite actors are dead or should be. So
all right.
I would have said Steve Martin, but then look how the Pink Panther series came out, so not him.
Part of me thinks Jeff Daniels might be good in that role too.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah,
that's just for funsies. So that's your favorite, Bobo. Ken, what was your favorite part of the Naked Gun?
You know, I wish I'd put down writing, but I put down sight gags. You know,
yeah.
One of things. Yes. It's like one of the things where it's like I just noticing, oh my gosh, so many sight gags. Okay, doesn't necessarily make it better, but it was good. It was finding all the sight gags, and also mentioned all these Easter egg things. So it's like literally the small thing they would put in there.
Yeah,
you can see right. The biggest one I like, the one that got me the most was each time he parked his car. He would run and the very last time after he parks it, the airbag comes out.
Yes.
Right. And it starts running away from him. He's like, something, like, you know,
they don't get that license plate.
Who got that car? Yeah, it's like the sight gags I thought were the best thing. But then again, you guys are right. You are correct with the writing too. You know?
Don't go that far.
That's exactly what I put for mine. Sight gags.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
Just the physical comedy. But like you said, the sight, like the outline, the chalk outline of a dead person floating
in
on the water.
Yeah.
Or walking around the walls of the set instead of through
I was just about to see
doors.
that one. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, things like that are just and the physical humor.
The thing with
go ahead, Bubba.
Yeah, I was gonna say the thing with Police Squad too is when they were told they were getting canceled, and only airing 6 episodes, the reason they were given is you have to watch it, which sounds weird, but it's like if you just have it on in the background, it's not really gonna sound that good. There's some dry dialogue in there, but the visual humor adds everything to it. So
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
I had forgotten there was a Police Squad. Bubba was in my stream. He was mentioning about watching.
I didn't realize that. Yeah,
that's when I found out that he was with me on the show. By the way, okay. I wasn't aware about who was with me then. He's like, "I watched Police Squad first." I was like, "Oh, really? Oh, what? The Police Squad?" I had to look up IMDb. Holy mackerel! I guess it was on TV. I guess don't know if I watched it or not, but
only 6 episodes. Yeah.
That leaves me then, guys, with my my classic maker, excuse me. And I like the Weird Al cameo. I like that he came out on the plane.
That was so short, though.
Yeah,
I know.
but it was unexpected.
I know.
I mean, if you hadn't seen it, like,
but that was my classic maker.
Mentioned him, so I'm like, so I don't know.
I liked in the credits that they had Weird Al played by Weird Al Yankovic, and the next credit was Weird Leslie.
I thought I saw something like that, but went by as my eyes like registered it. It had gone by, and I was just like, well, I was more concerned with getting to the end to see if there was anything at the end, because this seemed like the perfect movie to have something post credits, but there wasn't.
Yeah,
so
unlike Airplane.
Oh yeah. With the guy at the curb, I'll give him like 5 more minutes or something. Yeah. Well, guys, you know what? Okay, all right.
No, you didn't forget something again. Come on,
yeah.
dude.
Well,
How many episodes
so
of this
Weird
you're
Al
always forgetting?
wasn't my last thing that I liked. I know you're so shocked. I actually also liked Stunning and Brave. Each week, hosts Chris Cowan of the Babylon Bee and Nate Henderson of Some Boring Budgeting Job confess their privilege, spotlight stunning social media posts, and fabricate outrage, all while keeping you super woke and enlightened. They will make you laugh. That's right, you have no choice. Check out Stunning and Brave at stunningandbrave.net.
That's great, Francisco. But what does Stunning and Brave have to do with the Naked Gun from the files of the police squad?
You know what?
Zero connection.
There is zero connection because Stunning and Brave is actually funny. So let's go on to the trivia.
Wow. A little foreshadow there.
Get to the
don't like Monty
trivia.
Python.
Let's get into the trivia. Let's get into the trivia of the Naked Gun from the files of Police Squad. Did you all realize that the device that induced characters to accept commands to kill someone, like, his little watch device thing, is similar to the parasitic life forms in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, which also made who was it? Chekhov, the other, who was the other guy? Do the things that they're trying to get him to do. And Ricardo Montalban was, of course, played Khan, so he's the villain in both these. He played Ludwig, for those keeping score, in The Naked Gun.
Or Ludwig, depending on the pronunciation.
Yes, fine. So I thought that was a fun bit of trivia. My question to you guys is, what would you consider to be the most ingenious ploy an antagonist has used to try to get their way in a movie? Let's start with Bobo this time.
I had to start with me, huh? I was trying to think of this, and then I came up with something, and then I conveniently forgot, just like you forget that ad every single week. It's probably something from an Ernest movie, though, so, it wasn't going to be that good an answer.
I wrote it down.
Well, okay. Well, then what was yours, Ken?
Well, so mine was more recent because I finished watching Reacher. Okay.
Oh, Reacher.
I don't know if I want to say anything because it might be a spoiler. Okay.
Yeah, the series on Amazon or one of the movies by
Amazon,
Tom Cruise. Okay.
No, not the top. No,
not the Tom Cruise one, but the series on Amazon.
One, right?
Okay. Thank you.
So it's just the way they did it, the way they got the person to do something. I thought was that's a unique way of doing it. Because when you asked the question beforehand, I'm like, wait, where? Oh, wait a minute, I just saw it on Reacher. Okay. But
okay.
My biggest fear, I don't want to say anything because then people might watch it and spoil some things.
That's fair. That's fair. How about you, Paul?
I don't know about ingenious, but I do think one of the villains that I sympathize for probably the most is the character that Ed Harris played in the movie The Rock, where he's the general, takes the anyway, he's the main
Francis
villain.
X. Hummel, Lieutenant Colonel, Marine Corps, Alcatraz, out. Something like that.
Yeah. Yes. So he takes, basically San Francisco hostage with chemical warfare.
Yeah.
So, but the reason why he goes behind and does that is because I'm sympathetic to the military, because I don't know, my family's been in the military, so I have
what? So, but go listen to our awesome The Rock episode, which you can check out.
Not the Dwayne Johnson episode.
No, we didn't cover Dwayne Johnson. Ha ha ha, Paul. No, but we actually covered the movie The Rock by Michael Bay on episode 91. So retrorewindpodcast.com/91 if you want to hear our thoughts on that.
Speaking of thoughts, I'm curious if you had a villain in mind, Francisco, an ingenious villain.
Well, I thought, as much as I didn't like the movie, the one that came to mind is I thought Ratigan from The Great Mouse Detective, how he steals this toy maker to make something that's supposed to be that's fine, that's the Queen of the England, but
to assassinate the Queen of England.
Exactly. How convenient. I know, right? It's like, oh wait, it's this movie. Oh my gosh.
Apparently in the 80s, everyone was trying to kill the Queen of England for some reason.
Apparently, no one liked the British monarchy for some reason. Anyway, but that would be mine off the top of my head.
Great trivia, Francisco.
Thank you.
And now that we have all of our trivial fun, let's find out what memories you, our awesome rewinders, or our rad rewinders, had about the Naked Gun from the Western. No, we'll make it from the Files of the Police Squad.
Wow. So
didn't get any answers for the other one?
Lesty.
No. So let's do the Police Squad one.
Wow. Lesty says, never seen it. Well, that's great. Lesty, thanks for that. D. Tungsten says, well, he did the gif of Leslie Nielsen, nothing to see here outside the firework factory. He says, okay, this is weird. I could have sworn that that said the second film. Okay. So, and then he quotes, actually, they're here for Weird Al Yankovic. Was the first thing that came to mind, but I think that was in the second or third one. No, it was in this one. I did have all three movies on VHS. I also remember some not safe for work bits from the series of movies, along with the incorrect bunch of bombs in the air from the national anthem, and of course, nothing to see here. Yeah, indeed.
Cardinal Paladin says the Queen's perfect first pitch.
Indeed. And D. Tungsten also says, oh yeah, and I forgot to mention O.J. Simpson saying saving a baby or something. Did he save a baby in this one?
Not this one.
Okay.
All right. Drew from the Cellcast quotes Frank. It's the same old story. Boy finds girl. Yeah, we already said that.
Yes. The whole quote Paul already quoted in his little spliced
that
together.
ended on the good year? No, the worst.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good line.
Then D. Tungsten says, is this some kind of bust?
I think that's from the third one.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, but
you're getting them all confuzzled, D. Tungsten. Yeah. My gosh.
Well,
anyway, thank you for submitting your memories, guys. By the way, we've transitioned our memories from Facebook and Twitter to Discord. So that's where we ask for memories pretty much the day before we're going to record. Excuse me. So there is where you can post them. Just in the Discuss Anything, I usually will start a thread that has all the what you remember about the movie or game.
Oh, I see the thread there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what interesting was I was watching this film. The first scene you're seeing is OJ sneaking around, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, oh, this is where he learned.
Wow.
He's trying on that glove.
Oh my word!
It didn't fit. You must have quit.
Anyway, thank you for sharing those memories, guys. Now let's get into the things we thought was the worst things about the Naked Gun. Let's spin a bar.
Worst 3.
And I'm going to kick things off with I sort of alluded to this already, but
I missed it.
No, actually, I'll go with this one first.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, I'm sure. Seen actually, let me think about this one. Oh my gosh! Wow,
man, his mind must be all bad, right? Yeah.
Which one do you hate worse?
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and update the bite meter.
You know what? Whatever. So I remember this, even watching this as a kid, and it still pained me this time. Seeing the lionfish bite his nose and pulling it off and seeing it all bloodied, I that must hurt so much. Because I've had pimples and stuff on my nose that just really hurt, and so I sort of extrapolated the pain to be even worse if there's these tiny daggers in your nose. And to pry it off, it just seemed like it was the worst.
It triggered a flashback from your PTSD.
Apparently, yes.
Wow.
Yes, I was triggered by.
So sorry to hear that, Francisco.
Thank you for your sympathy, Ken. I appreciate that. So that's something I didn't like. Ken, what's something you didn't like that I could be sorry that you experienced?
This movie.
That condom gag just fell totally flat with me. I was just
yeah.
Let's practice safe sex. And next thing you see, they're in these full-size condoms with a big, huge bag. I'm like, that, no, that. I don't care. Even back then, it probably was stupid, right? I don't know. It just, no, I said I felt flat. I just hate it,
Okay. Totally fair. Yeah, I thought that was...
You didn't think the noise they made when they fell over was funny?
No. I was so put off by the thing, I didn't even hear the noise, but okay.
But they came in these huge packages. How fun!
Yeah, I know. Were they carrying that in the back pocket? Oh, my God,
No, she has a stack of them in her closet.
Wow. But they were at her place. At his
she
place.
practices.
No. Weren't they at his place? Maybe they were at her place.
I don't remember.
It doesn't matter.
Who cares?
After a whole day of knowing each other. Let's see. Let's go to Bobo next. What's something that fell flat for you?
I did have a few problems with this movie, especially having watched Airplane last time I was on this year's show. And watching Police Squad, I watched all 6 episodes before watching The Naked Gun.
Yeah.
And I know I'm going from TV shows to a movie, but I felt like there was a little bit too much downtime
in the movie,
big jokes. And, yeah. And I understand you got to have a little bit of downtime, but with Airplane, it was still pretty rapid fire.
Yes. Yeah.
And it felt like there was a little bit too much time between jokes sometimes.
It's
here.
like they were trying to take it a little too serious to make a legitimate movie with the plot and everything. Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, and I'll go off that, Bobo. Actually, I won't, because we have to let Paul have a chance. So, Paul, did you feel like there's too much time between jokes, or was the pacing off, or what was?
Sure, yeah. But the thing that I wrote down is that, for some reason it got in my head the remote control that was used to control people. It's some of the shots, the cutaway shots, it seemed like only certain people that might have been wearing a watch or might have been not. I don't know why the remote worked for some people and not others. It's one of those, this is a silly movie. You're not supposed to think that much far into it, but the way they cut in some of the shots, it seemed like there was more of a plot there, like there was a link between the characters, but they didn't go into it. They kind of went halfway into it, so it took me out of the movie. So,
Bob or Ken, did you feel taken out of the movie by that or something else?
No. Sorry.
Okay, it's just me. Sorry, folks.
No. It's not. It's not just you, Paul, because for me, I had such trouble understanding the motivations of a lot of these characters. Like, I didn't really get, especially why Ludwig, Ricardo Montalban.
Welcome to Fantasy Island.
Yes. All right. I didn't get why he wanted to kill the queen. Was it to keep her from getting the drugs? He was going
to make millions of money from it.
He wanted rich Corinthian leather.
What?
I thought someone was.
Who didn't want to kill the queen?
No,
he didn't. I thought he did want to kill the queen. That's why he programmed the people to do it.
Yeah.
So why though?
For money.
From where? How does he get money from that?
Into that? Again, they didn't go into that.
See, this is what I'm talking about. I don't know what's going on. Why do you
want more money? Why do you want more power?
He wanted the rich Corinthian leather. Okay.
Yes, but why?
And the queen was keeping him from getting rich Corinthian leather?
You guys know anything with that joke? Just felt
no. I don't get it. Where is that from?
He used to do TV commercials for, I think it was Chrysler, and the cars used to have rich Corinthian leather. You talked about.
Oh, okay.
Never mind. You got the too
young.
If
I'd seen that, I probably would have thought that was hilarious, Ken. Thank you for.
You're right, though. Why did he kill the queen?
I don't know. So that was something that I didn't like. Something else I didn't like. Ken, what's something else you didn't like about the Naked Gun?
Baseball spitting scene with Jason.
Oh yeah,
sagging to me. But mind you, I love baseball, and you could see, but I'm like, oh my gosh, he was getting to the point where I'm just
so much.
I want to throw up, right? It's like just total nauseating, like nah.
Yeah,
I know.
A little bit was fine, but oh my god,
So it's interesting. I don't think it was the same day. It was like the day after. But sometimes before bed, my daughter will want to watch with me these like try not to laugh video compilations of like silly things kids do or pets do. And this one we were watching had these 2 instances of kids like getting sick and throwing up. I'm like, it's just like turn my stomach to watch. I'm like, why are you putting this in here? And
just
so it wasn't
about it upsets my stomach.
Quite like that for me with this. But it was just so gross and not.
Well, I'm not going to talk about the fact that the Seattle Mariners, my team, up there was playing the California Angels at the time. Okay, now they're called the Anaheim. Right? They're playing in freaking Dodger Stadium.
Yes, they were.
Yeah, I like.
What's wrong? What's wrong with that?
Well, they pretended to be the Big A go over in Anaheim, and it wasn't. So
yeah,
what the heck
you know
is
what?
This, man?
You know
what?
Like, I can get your frustration. They should have filmed it at California State University Northridge, like every other movie. Come on, get on board. Get on board, Naked Gun.
Northridge. Oh my word.
Yeah, it's where Francisco and I went to
earthquake
college.
was, right?
Yeah, the earthquake was there. Yeah, destroyed the library almost. Anyway, Baba, we're reviewing Earthquake right now. What was something you didn't like about The Naked Gun? What was a fault line in this movie?
Good one.
My number 2 on my list. I don't know if this is one of the 74 things that Francisco has on his list, but having just watched The Police Squad and then watching this movie, I couldn't help but notice there were a lot of differences in the cast.
Oh, really?
We still had Leslie Nielsen, of course. That was the main thing, but Ed Hawken was George Kennedy in the movie, and I missed Alan North from the series.
Yeah.
And it's George Kennedy didn't do anything wrong, but I missed Alan North.
Okay.
And I missed Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, Abraham Lincoln. There's no Lincoln. I missed William Duell.
Yeah.
William Duell, the Johnny the Snitch, who they kind of did a variation on that joke where, what do you know about such and such? I don't know nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, maybe Mr. Lincoln will refresh
Oh,
your memory.
yeah.
They still did a variation on that, but I miss Johnny the Snitch. Johnny the Snitch was one of my favorite characters from the TV show.
Oh, that was like a
I don't know if he
regular
wasn't
or
available,
something?
so they just decided not to do it because of that. But,
Got it.
yeah, I was missing people from the TV show.
Okay.
Yeah, I going off that,
Fair
I
enough.
also, and I hope this isn't also one of yours. I missed some of the sight, the sight gags, some of the what do you call it, running gags from the TV show, like being still, like the freeze frame, that kind of thing. There were several of the gags from the TV show that I missed on this as well. That's a bonus.
So you had watched the TV show as well, Paul?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not recently, but like a couple years ago I did.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, then what was something? So was that your second dislike,
no,
Paul? Or? Okay.
My second one was going very similar to Ken's earlier one. Is I'm gonna go ahead and throw down the prude card, and that's basically the sex jokes. I mean,
A lot of them, I know.
I think they're personally, I think it's funny, but there are several scenes, a few scenes, I should say, that I would feel uncomfortable watching this with friends or family in the same room. So that's
fair.
That's going to be a dislike for me.
Okay. Well, I mean, sort of going off of that, let's go into our tragic makers, guys. And for me, I'd say not only did the sex jokes not work, I feel like most all the gags in this, whether it's
It made you gag.
gags or funny lines, quote unquote, I just thought I was honestly just sitting like this the whole time, just like, for those listening, I know you can't see my face, but just pretty much expressionless, just like, yeah, okay, keep going, all right. And that I like pause. I didn't fall asleep during this movie at all, but I was like pausing it, and very often like, how much longer? It's that much longer still? Oh my gosh. Okay.
So would you say this was slow and boring?
If I had that sound cue, I would.
Oh,
but
too bad. But I'm here. It's slow and boring.
Thank you, Paul. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call it boring per se, more confusing, slow and confusing. But yeah, I didn't find it funny. I may have slightly chuckled once, but that's about it. So for a comedy, it certainly wasn't my style of humor, and which is weird because it's the same people that did Airplane, and I remember laughing in Airplane. Yeah. And like you said, Paul, I feel like it's also similar to what's in Hot Shots and Hot Shots Part 2, and I remember liking that a lot. So I don't know why this didn't land. For
the
me.
difference is that this is slow and boring.
All right. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Paul. So that was my tragic maker, but I know you guys seem to like the humor a lot more. So I'm curious what your tragic makers are. Let's go to Bobo this time.
Okay, for podcast listeners, when Francisco said I was just like this during the movie, he did his own version of the freeze frame gag that came at the end of Police Squad.
That's true.
And I mention this because having just watched Police Squad 6 times, and they have the freeze frame gag at the end of every episode, and they're all hysterically funny.
Yeah.
How do they not do it in the movie?
You know what's weird is
that killed me.
I saw a trailer for this, and they did the freeze frame in the trailer for this movie. Like, but not in the movie.
Seems like false advertising. Come on. See, I think even for someone who hadn't seen Police Squad, like I haven't seen it, I think that would have been fun to have seen stuff like that. It's because I think reading the trivia, they don't do a real freeze frame, right? They pretend to freeze.
Yeah,
is that what it is?
They just stand perfectly still. Yeah, one of my favorite ones from the show is they do the everybody stops moving, and there's a chimpanzee in the back, and he starts hopping from desk to desk and grabbing folders of papers and throwing them all over the place.
That seems very fun.
It's hilarious.
Yeah,
I love it.
Okay. See,
and it's like I like Herman's Hermits at the end, but I mean you could do the gag with Herman's Hermits playing. Come on.
Yeah. So I totally get that. Bobo. Ken, what's the thing you hated most? Was it that it didn't have a freeze frame gag or some other thing that was missing?
The acting was rather wooden. Okay, you know, I like George Kennedy. He's been around for a long time, right? But
the captain, or not the captain, but the head of Police Squad.
Yeah,
I thought he was the most engaging of everyone. Right. I wanted to see more of him.
Right, yeah, exactly, because he's a classic actor. But and the stunt doubles were just so fake.
Oh yeah, the rag dolls.
I mean, it's not just that. It was the fight scenes, right? There's like a scene where you see the back of Leslie Nielsen or Frank Durbin's head, right? And you know it's not him. It's just not him. Okay, it was in the apartment, right, where he's doing all the flips around, like a room to find out who's in his apartment. You know, to find out that it was her, right? She was there. You know, that is just totally fake. You know,
but I thought it was fun when they riffed on that, and like Carlo Montalban is carrying up a sex doll instead of the girl. Like it's obviously not her.
Yeah,
it's like,
right. Yeah,
they had fun with it, but it just took you out.
I get that. I totally get that. For me, those things were, I knew what was happening. I could see how the stunt double would like go behind the bed or the chair, and then Leslie Nielsen comes out. And I thought that was fairly seamless, but yeah, I could definitely, it was hard for me to suspend my disbelief that was actually Leslie Nielsen doing that.
Yeah.
All right. Paul,
how else would you do that?
Let's end with you. What was your tragic maker for The Naked Gun from the Files of Police Squad?
Oh, not the Western. Okay. Well, probably the same thing is basically what some of you had said before. I put down the pacing. Like Bob was saying, like the times between the jokes.
Yeah.
And like what you said, you're like, how much time? Like the whole thing, like, okay, assassinate the queen, and they're at the dinner party. And then that didn't work out. And like, okay, let's gonna assassinate the queen at the baseball field. All right, fine. So you already tried to assassinate her once. The baseball field, okay, let's get it, go. There should be like 5 minutes left of the movie. No, that baseball scene just keeps going and going and going. It's like the pacing of this is just off, especially for a comedy.
You know what? I will say, I think I did remember the one half chuckle I did have, I think was in the baseball scene though. When
there are some funny moments in it. Yes.
Yeah, when he saves the queen and they're like, "Oh, it's the opera guy's name. I forget what his name. It's Portolini or something."
Enrico.
Yeah, whatever his name is. I thought that was funny that they were thinking it was the opera guy that saved the queen.
And the guy pointing it out too, wasn't he Francis from Pee-wee's Big Adventure?
Yes. Oh yes, yes, it was. Yes.
Love that cameo.
Yeah. But those are the things that we didn't like so much. And now that we've entered all our targeting information into the firing computer, Alice, you have a firing solution for us.
Yeah.
Firing solution complete. Rating salvo at the ready. On your mark.
I just wanted to take a moment and say to the angry younger generation, when I said chubby, I was not making a fat joke.
Oh.
That's his name, the character he plays in Teen Wolf.
In Teen Wolf, yes.
Yeah.
It's okay, Paul. It's okay. You don't have to explain.
Well, you know, cancel culture.
No one below 30 watches this.
Or listens, yeah.
I'm kidding. And I think some of you are below that. Anyway, all right, guys, it's time for the moment of truth. Does The Naked Gun from the Files of Police Squad, do we rate it a classic? We'd recommend anyone go see this movie, whether or not they've seen it before. A nostalgic, it's worth seeing again if you remember liking it from the last time you saw it. But if you've never seen it, go watch a different movie. We've mentioned some others, possibly like Airplane or Hot Shots or other things.
Or Holy Grail.
Or what?
Holy Grail, yeah.
No! Or is this a tragic like Monty Python and the Holy Grail? Is it worth no one's time today, whether or not you've seen it before? That's right, guys. You can give me your deep freezes all you want. I'll hold firm.
Didn't
Anyway,
know that part.
let's go to Ken first. What's your final rating for?
I'm still shocked when we did that Star Wars one for the Christmas special, right? I'm like, this is the worst thing ever. And you're like, no, something's worse than this. I go, what's worse than this? And you go, the Holy Grail. I'm like, what the?
That's right. That's right.
I was just blown away, okay? But anyways. I started off calling this a classic because the Naked Gun,
that's
right?
That's
I came
your
away
prediction.
saying it is a tragic.
Whoa!
It doesn't hold up. The jokes are not timeless. There are times I did laugh, but otherwise it's not worth seeing or re-watching.
Ooh,
there you go.
Dun, dun, dun. All right. That is a big fall. Bobo, was it an equal fall for you? You predicted classic, but did it stay there?
So now I have to say real quick, I have a weight on my shoulders now because we've already got one tragic.
Don't worry
And
about
the
it.
2 times I've been on the show so far, you guys have disagreed with what I said about a movie.
Don't worry, you be you.
So
Yes, you be you, Bobo.
So this is not going to end well. I said classic. I watched it, and my immediate question was, "Is this as good as Airplane or better?" And I said no.
It's not.
And I thought Airplane was a classic, despite what you guys thought.
Yeah.
So then the question simply became, is it classic or nostalgic? And I actually have to degrade it to, I have to take it down to nostalgic. It's not must see.
Right.
If it's Naked Gun or Airplane that I'm going to watch Airplane more often than not. And even if it comes down to Naked Gun or Police Squad, I'm definitely watching Police Squad.
There you go.
Okay.
And it's maybe because the pacing's better, because it's a TV show.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
is that what
nostalgic for
ruined it?
me. Still,
If you had not watched Police Squad, would have
that's a good question.
Kept it as a classic? I mean, I think you watched Police Squad, which means you liked it better, and then you're like, well, darn, the movie wasn't as good. So
What do you think?
I feel like it came down. I think I would have come to the same conclusion, but I can't say for sure.
But I think that's actually an awesome perspective because I think a lot of people that could potentially like this movie would have been people that watched Police Squad. So it's good that we have that.
All 7 of them. Yeah.
Yeah, to have that perspective of someone who had watched Police Squad. And by the way, if you want to listen to our review of Airplane, it's retrorewindpodcast.com/228. So yeah, we ended up with a disputed nostalgic final rating on that one.
don't call me Shirley.
Okay, we won't, Ken. Let's go to Paul next. You had predicted a tragic. Did you end up saying tragic or did it go up?
I actually enjoyed a lot of the sight gags and the wordplay. So this actually bumped it up to nostalgic for me. It's definitely not a classic. I mean, if you enjoyed this movie, I would say if you enjoyed this movie before, you should go ahead and put it on. But I agree with Bobo that it's not as good as Airplane or some of the other stuff out there is better. That's why it's not a classic.
All right. Well, unfortunately, I'd have to disagree with you guys because this is totally a tragic.
I'm shocked.
Totally a tragic. I don't know what you guys are. I mean, no, I can't. I actually
agree with me then.
I do agree with you, Ken. Yes, we're on the same team. If you're watching the stream, me and Ken are on one side, and Paul and Bob are on the other side of the stream, which is fun. But yeah, so we are at a tie. So we're gonna go to Francisco from the future to find out what our awesome Rewind Republic, the patrons that support the show at the $5 or more level, they get to have a say in in breaking the ties on these movies where we come to an impasse. So let's go to them to find out how they rate this film. Thank you, Francisco and crew from the past. And according to our Rewind Republic, who voted classic overall for The Naked Gun, when I average those in with our cruise rain, the Retro Rewind podcast rates The Naked Gun from the Files of Police Squad a highly disputed, nostalgic film. We'd recommend, if you enjoyed it in the past, it's worth your time today. But if not, if you've never seen it before, go watch something else. May hachach paju. Now back to Francisco, Paul, Ken, and Bobo from the past. Okay. I feel
that is so.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I used to love this community, but I'm not. I
know. I'm kind of speechless. I'm like,
why?
Why would you guys?
Rewinder.
No, not rad.
Because it's funny. Some of the jokes.
Okay, guys. I mean, fine, patrons. If you want to vote that way, I guess I can't stop you.
That's right.
But
power to the people.
I call into question your loyalty. Don't mutiny. Don't mutiny against your captain.
Why not? Wouldn't be the first.
Oh my gosh, Paul.
I mean, if all of them said that Monty Python Holy Grail was a good movie, then I'll embrace you again. Okay, so yeah.
Just go ahead and pull out the bite meter
now.
My gosh! Up here, 3/4 of the way there.
Well, all right. So there you go. Thank you all again, Rewind Republic, for foraying this. And now it's time to get back to our own time. Good old 20XX.
20XX.
Comsat online. Receiving incoming transmission.
Incoming transmission. What is it?
If this is watched in 2100, then they're going to blow it, right? So I was thinking of 20XX. That means that when you're watching the 2121,
yes,
we're going to go, what?
Yeah, no, because they're listening to the past.
They are listening
now
to the past.
for us.
Exactly.
And then
it's the past.
Okay.
Just now. And speaking of now, it feels good to be back, but we wouldn't have been able to travel back to 1988 to begin with if it weren't for our amazing reflux capacitors, namely Jared Holzhauer, Deborah Powers, Brian Keating, Patrick Hicks, LJ Lowry, Chris Cowan, Geek Devotions, The Untold Podcast, James Kennison, Drew of the Cellcast, Ashley Cronenbitter, Pastor Dewston, Kenneth, he's right here, Redeemed Otaku, That's Our Bob, he's here too, Josh Adams, D. Tungsten, Andy Lewis, Jeff, The Dapperman Reviews, Tony from the Retro Days, Mr. Lost, Daryl Hafner, and Rosie, in addition to 9 other awesome patrons as well. Thank you all so much for keeping the gigawatts coming. And if you want to help us keep flying for as little as $1 a month and get bonus content for your generosity, head over to retrorewindpodcast.com/support to start.
This stream is sponsored by PaulJPowers.com.
And while we're thanking our people, we also want to give a big virtual naked hug to Ken Cummings.
Oh my, naked hug.
Popke. We'll leave it there. Thank you for supporting us with your thoughts on The Naked Gun, from the Files of the Police Squad tonight. Let's go in alphabetical order and start with David Bobko Bobke. Where can people find you online? Is there anything cool you got going on that people should know about?
No.
Excellent.
No, you can go to pauljpowers.com and look for me there. You won't find me, but you can look.
Yes, I agree with that.
It's like an Easter egg hunt for a Bobo. Yes, I like it.
Yeah, you'll find, if you click enough links, you'll find them. And then we also have Ken Cummings. Where can people find you online? Is there anything cool you got going on?
Yeah, always. I'm Kenneth on Twitch. You can find me there. I stream a lot of times. I do train games, other stuff, and playing Lost Ark. I also do a Trinity MMO show with my friends Rajaziel and Solomon Saturday night. So if you want to watch us, we're doing that. I was listening to your Mario Brothers one, right? And you were singing all the names. Singing all the names. Like that was kind of fun. I was hear my name sung, so it was kind of cool.
All right, here you go. Jared Holzhauer, Deborah Powers, Brian Keating, Patrick Hicks, LJ Lowry, Chris Cowan, Geek Devotions, The Untold Podcast, James Kennison, Drew of the Cellcast, Ashley Cronenbitter, Pastor Dewson, Kenneth, and here he is, Redeemed Otaku, That's Our Bubble, he's here too, Josh Adams, D. Tungsten, Andy Lewis, Jeff, the Dapperman Reviews, Tony from the Retro Days, Mr. Lost, Daryl Hafner, and Rosie.
You know, I said I liked it. I didn't say I want to hear it again.
Oh my gosh.
No, that was fun. I like that. Thank you for doing that.
You're welcome. No, you don't have to try more. I'm not there yet. Oh, goodness gracious. Thank you again, though, sincerely, Ken and Bobo, for being here. And also thank you to my lieutenant friend, Paul, and all you rewinders, new and old, for another fun voyage.
You're welcome. And you can find me, pauljpowers.com, at the place where you can find That Sour Bobo at pauljpowers.com.
Indeed.
Click away. Links.
All
links.
Right. And you can find me on our Discord for show announcements or just to say hi. Join us there at retrorewindpodcast.com/Discord.
Do it.
This podcast is a proud member of Culture Box, a curated collection of podcasts, videos, and articles that will provide you a balanced meal of content. You will find culture celebrated for its past and future, satirized for its extremes, explored in study, and created anew in story. Point your web browser to culturebox.media.
As Nathan just said, we are now part of the Culture Box Media Network. Find all the shows on Unpacking Truth. I'll find all the shows. That sounds very inclusive. Like, all the other shows don't unpack truth,
exactly,
comedy, and geekery. You can only find those at culturebox.media. So with that, Captain, we're on final approach to base, which, you know, just don't bump anything when you park the pod.
I'll try not to. Anyone catch the license plate of that pod? Thank you, EXO, and thank you all for listening. We pray you are more joyful today than when you first hit play. But like a Pokemon, we got to catch you all for Batman the Movie 1966, our next episode of the Retro Rewind Podcast.
Retro Rewind mission complete. Proceed to nav point Omega and return to base.
I got nothing.
Batman?
You're both right.
Now that Naked Gun's over, whatever happens, remember, I love you.
Sir?
Because you're my friend, Paul.
Right, sir, friend. So it must be time for Firefly.
Ship like this, be with you to the day you die.
Retro.
Because it's a death trap.
The pod of rewind.
Pretty cunning, don't you think?
They were robbed of time, young Indy made them poor. Burnt out on dullness, what was it all for? With Firefly now, what reviews will they find? The hero of time, Retro of Rewind.
We gotta go to the crappy town where I'm a hero.
Welcome to our second review of the episodes of Firefly as we're going through this year, covering all the episodes leading up to us covering the movie Serenity for our Christmas episode. Paul, can you give us the technicals for this episode 2 of Firefly?
This is episode 2 titled The Train Job, and it was actually the first episode that aired on September 20th, 2002. Do you want to give us a one-sentence synopsis of this episode, or try to?
Yes. The crew of Firefly take a job to rob a train, but they don't like that they were robbing medicine, so they give it back, but then have to face the consequences.
I love my captain.
That's good. And mal also means bad in the Latin. So before we get started, I'm just curious, we'll go around real quick. Have we all seen Firefly before this, or was this anyone's first time watching Firefly?
I'll take that.
Go ahead, Baba.
I was going to say, I have seen all but the last 2 episodes at least once.
Oh, really? Okay. Awesome. And Paul, you've seen it before I believe.
Yeah, almost all the episodes, but I don't know which ones I haven't seen.
Oh,
because
interesting.
they showed them out of order. So
Yes,
I saw
okay.
them all on DVD.
Yeah, I've seen them all on DVD as well. All right, awesome, guys. So let's go around and we'll do one thing we liked from this episode, one thing we didn't like our classic maker and tragic maker, and then we'll talk about whether or not this episode, and then we'll talk about our favorite character in this episode, and then whether or not we'd want to continue watching the series based on watching this episode. So let's start with Baba. What's something you liked about the train job?
So I think my favorite moment was when we see Inara doing Kaylee's hair, and Mel walks into the scene.
Yeah.
And Inara says, "What did I say about you barging into my shuttle?" And he says that it was manly and impulsive.
Yes.
She says, "Yes, precisely. Only the exact phrase I used was, don't."
Yes.
I just love when people can communicate that way in general, but I especially love that exchange. That cracked me up, and I actually went back and watched that again.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Ryan in this episode was, especially for trying to be an episode where if you're not familiar too much with the production issues of Firefly, like the last episode we covered was Serenity, which was this 2-hour pilot, but they didn't show that. So they had to essentially rewrite a new pilot that would still introduce all the characters in this episode, The Train Job. So I thought, given that, I thought they did a good job of setting everything up and putting everything in motion with the knowledge that people wouldn't have seen the first episode or the pilot episode. But Ken, what's
still better?
I think, well, yes, you had way more room to breathe, way more tension and action for sure. But Ken, what was something you liked about the train job from Firefly?
Well, you just mentioned about the writing with the whole cast. I rewatched the first one. I went to Hulu. Hulu has it there, and so I was rewatching it. The first one, like you mentioned, the episode you showed the other, or you reviewed the other day, and I said before I saw the train job, and I was just reminding myself, how much I missed this show. And I tend to follow, not quite follow all of the actors and actresses. Where have they gone, right?
Yeah.
I mean, where have they been? I mean, I knew Ryan Glass from Barney Miller back in the day, so I knew who he was, right? And so, but it's like just the overall the how they all interact and play together and work together, and just the character building that's in the show and who they are. Okay, it's just I just love it. It reminded me of that, and I always, of course, loved the Western vibe. You know, the whole idea that this is like back in the old West type stuff, but it's in the space. You know.
Exactly. Yeah. I thought that was such a good, awesome mix of sci-fi with Western for sure. That was always a fun thing. Paul, was
and it had trains in it.
And it had trains in it. Yes. I suppose it did. Yes. Oh,
there it goes.
My word. Paul, what's something you liked about this episode?
My favorite scene is takes place actually at the end, where they give the money back and they say, "Don't come looking for us," and the guy says, "Oh, I will," and he kicks him.
Yes.
Basically kills him, which is, probably the smart thing to do. And then the next guy, they bring the next guy. "Oh no, I get it."
Because he starts to say the same thing again.
Yeah. I thought that scene was really well written as well.
You're right.
Yes. I'm going to take a quick detour. Let's do a little, we're going to do there wasn't really a spiritual speculation for Naked Gun. You'll find out, patrons, as we do a trivia night here in a bit, a trivia game. But I'm curious, what is your guys' thoughts of Mal in this? Not only in Serenity, he kills someone, and then in this, he kills someone who wasn't attacking him. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about him just essentially executing Wild West justice? Do you feel like that was just? Do you feel like that really wasn't the right thing to do, even in those circumstances? He should have gone about it a different way. What are your thoughts on that?
For this universe, I was fine with it.
Okay.
I mean, I might not be normally, but I think they're in such a dangerous line of work, and we kind of accept them at that value that I'm okay with it, doing it the way he does.
Do you think it was still morally right, though, for him to have done that?
Probably not.
Okay.
Aim to misbehave.
Okay, thank you, Paul.
Question.
I'll be the controversial one because I believe in protecting oneself. And if somebody threatens, even though it's just words, if you believe their threat, like I'm going to kill you, then the way to protect yourself is to kill them first so that they can't kill you. So I am a proponent of that. I think it in order to. So do I think it's right to kill to prevent to be killed?
Yeah, but I mean, he could have left him, like in the case of this train job, he could have left that guy with the tattoo on his face on the planet.
Sure, only to be freed and come after it and kill him like he said he would.
Would you think
he said, no matter how far you run, I will come after you and kill you and all your crew. So to save him and his crew, he did what he... So you kill one life to save many.
Right.
I don't know. Part of me feels like
I'm telling you what I do. It's not I don't know. That's what
fair.
I feel.
That's fair. That's fair. How about you, Ken? What are your thoughts on it?
No, good question. I mean, it's like, yeah, the kill one to save many. You know, it's like he gave him a chance. Okay, he said, "Go back. We're not going to kill you. You know, go back." And he goes,
"That's true.
I'm going to hunt you down. I'm going to kill you." And then he pushes him out. Like why? Yeah, the engines are on. Like probably because he's going to take off pretty soon, right? But also, well, that's right. I remember that episode, right? And the next guy comes up. Oh yeah, I know what you want to do. Okay, bye, perfect. You know, it's like
exactly. Yeah, for me, I guess I feel like it wasn't his place to do that, to just execute him, because there wasn't an immediate threat. I think if there's an immediate threat, then yes. I get what you're saying, Paul, that
what does time have to do with anything? You just bought yourself 30 seconds or 30 years. Either way,
because there is a possibility of that man coming to Christ.
We should have led him to Christ. Oh, see, now I'm sorry. I'm in the philosophy of the Westerns where you give the guy a chance to say your prayers before you shoot him. That's
I thought Mal said something in this episode about there wasn't room for God on the ship or something.
Yeah, that's true. I understand, but this is in a universe that has the God of the Bible. There are Bibles, there are shepherds, so that's why I am incorporating that ethic into this universe.
It's amazing that Mal is more powerful than God, because God is omnipresent, can be everywhere except on Mal's ship. So Mal is stronger than God to kick him off his ship.
Yeah, Mal's it.
Okay, Paul. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, thank you guys for what's the word when you allow someone to do something? Indulging.
Yeah,
yes, indulging.
Yeah. Sorry for the insight, and you're losing what do you call support when your exo supports the death penalty.
That's okay, Paul. We can have different opinions. That's totally fine. I appreciate that. I
can change my opinion later before someone kills me. Hopefully.
Oh my God!
Well, I'm just got to know that when I mutiny, you won't kill me. Okay, so
yeah. Now, if you try to mutiny me when I'm the captain, you know what happens.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh! Wow, guys. All right. Well, enough mutiny talk. Let's get back to Firefly. I still haven't yet to say the thing I liked, and I don't know, even though this is old graphics, I still think it's such a beautiful scene where you see the train going, you see Serenity flying, the Jane's coming up with the cargo, and it's like flies away and goes out of shot. I think that's just such a well put together scene. Even though it does look dated, it just still, I don't know, with the way the camera shakes and just the way they compose it, I thought it still holds up on the whole. So I really I like the overall visuals of this show. So I'll go with that. I mean, all the things you guys said too were completely valid. Totally would back up all of those things. But if I'm picking something, it would be that moment. Let's go.
We're already talking mutiny, so you better.
Let's go. To things that I won't kill you all, but I'll kick you off my ship. The space can kill you. Exactly. Let's get to the things we didn't like. The things we would have kicked off our own proverbial ships for Firefly. I'm starting to start with Paul this time.
Character first?
No, we're doing that after this.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm going to have to disagree with the captain, not mutiny, but disagree is I didn't think the visuals was probably the worst part for me.
Oh,
I thought the visuals was
That's
the worst.
fair.
Now, when the ship, the Serenity, is in space, I think it looks beautiful. The graphics hold up to today. probably because there's no compositing.
Yeah.
But whenever it's in land, that didn't hold up for me. It took me most out of the show.
All right, fair. How about Ken? What's something you didn't like?
You know, I was thinking my original was going to say Jane. Yeah, I always remember Jane being a character, different kind of character, right? But now I'm thinking like, no, that's right, because you reminded me of the fact that when I watched episode one was the pilot that never, like they had to, you said redid it, right? So I actually watched what I thought was episode one isn't episode one.
Yeah.
And so I always remember Jane being a nicer guy, right? And episode one made him like he's a jerk, right?
Yeah.
But I was gonna say Jane, but no, that's something. But episode two is different. Like you said, it's more of a more less bad Jane, more nicer Jane. But still, he does think wrong because he was about to mutiny the ship last time in the other one. It's like we gotta do this and get out of here because. Wait, that this episode?
So train job was where he was like,
yeah. Sorry, this is the one. That's right. Yeah. So I was like,
you know what the chain of command is? It's run chain. I go and beat you with until you know who's in run command. Yeah, exactly.
Right. This is the one. I'm like, I remember Jane being a nicer guy, and I didn't like this at all.
I don't remember Jane being a nice guy at all. So I look forward to that.
Nicer. I'm not saying he was a nice guy, but nicer.
Oh, okay.
And,
okay.
Yeah, he wasn't as rough around the edges as he seemed to be in this episode.
And willing to mutiny,
Yeah.
All right. Baba, was something you didn't like about the train job?
I'm hard pressed to really pick something I didn't like about this episode because I liked the majority of what was going on. It was paced well. I love 42-minute shows that feel like they're under a half an hour. So
yeah, totally.
I like that. The main thing, I guess, that kind of doesn't totally stick for me when I watch Firefly is Simon as a character feels a little bit awkward to me.
He is awkward.
Fits right. So yeah, if I have to pick something, I guess it's him. Unless I'm allowed to pick the Fox network as a whole, because they canceled a lot of good stuff around this time period.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And I still hold a grudge. So
yeah, that's totally. I think.
If I can support the death penalty, you can kill Fox. Sure.
It's justified. It's justified. Exactly.
I think that's a different show, but moving on.
Oh my gosh, Paul. Yes. Okay. With the Ollie font. Anyway, the thing I didn't like most about this was actually, it's interesting. That I would like the CG visuals, but I felt like the costumes for whatever reason felt very like I don't know, just very store-bought. Like we just got these off the rack at Nordstrom's or at Kmart or something, as opposed to even in the pilot, I felt like they're a little bit more plussed than this. But certainly in the movie, they're way more plussed. They have a lot more texture and whatnot. But go ahead, Paul. You look like you're going to say something.
that totally reminds me of my other dislike that I had was the first fight at the bar when they were outside. It seemed like they were like stage fighting. I don't know why. Like they were fighting. Like they're obviously filming for TV. But yeah.
Okay. I can see that.
It's kind of like it reminded me this. It's the same feeling. Like I see what you mean by the costumes. There's something just off and unreal about this that takes you out of it a little.
Yeah. Awesome, guys. Well,
can I add one thing?
Yes, please do.
What I loved was the set of the Firefly. And especially in the first episode, the way they did the shots, right? You follow them up and down. You're like, this set is built. I mean, like the main stage where the cargo hold is, up to where his cabin is, to where the deck is. Like, oh my gosh, they put this whole freaking set.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That is always an awesome element because you felt like you were in this ship and you sort of knew where you were. They did a good job in that pilot episode of establishing the whole like space of the ship. Okay, fine, Paul. Give Paul a map of the Firefly.
Yeah. Also want to add the fact that this is a board game and you get to play it and kind of cool doing the different missions and you can make choices, whether it's the good or bad choices, and you get to learn all about the places and the people there. And so it's kind of fun if you ever watch the show again. All that is in the board game. So it's a reminder when I was watching the show again, I'm like, oh, hey, I know all these places. I played the board game.
Oh, wow. Nice. That's what I need to do then.
Okay, guys, now that we've talked about the things we liked and didn't like, let's just explore real quick. Who is our favorite character in this episode? Ken, let's start with you. Who did you like the most?
They're also good characters, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I guess I don't know why, but Shepard comes to mind. I forget exactly what it was in the episode, right? But like Shepard, you know, and I don't know, just Shepard. I mean, all the characters are good. I mean, it's like all of them, you know. I mean, obviously River still is like not really there yet.
Yeah,
you know, it's like kind of a minimal thing, right? Of course, she's more of a Zoe and Mal, you know, talking with the sheriff. Like the sheriff, sheriff was willing to like, I knew you had it. Get it back. Off you go. You know, it's like the character, but when it comes to the cast, I would think Shepard right now. I think. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. How about you, Paul?
In this episode, it was Inara or Inara, however.
Inara, yeah.
Inara, yeah. She wasn't in this. Wash was a close second, but he's even less in this. But they both come in to save the day, and I thought she played her role really strong and really likable as well. So that was a good combo for her.
You know what? It's the same for me, Paul. I was going to say Inara too. Even though, she wasn't in too much. I liked her interplay with Kaylee, like that Bobo spoke to. I liked how her interactions with Mel, and then also how she was the one who got them out of the sheriff's office with that ploy of being sort of that they were her slaves or what have you. Mm-hmm. I just thought that was really. I just liked how they utilized her in this episode too. I mean, this isn't her job to be part of the crime, but she's still willing to. It also sort of illuminates that she is a part of this crew, even though she isn't involved with the more shady parts of it.
She's a good.
Then you can see the relationship between the two, between Mal and her. You know,
absolutely, yeah.
She's a good asset to have, and not just because of her vocation. Right.
Sure. Bobo, that leaves you. What's the character you connected with or liked the most in this episode?
For this episode, I got to go with Mal.
Yeah, Mal was great.
The scene I mentioned earlier, the scene again at the end where he's having the discussion with the leader of the whatever that he ends up killing, and that opening scene. Yeah, that opening scene too, where he says, "Why don't you say that to my face?" The guy says it to his face. What are you gonna do now? He's like, "Actually, that's fine. I just wanted her to get behind you." And Zoe,
yeah, exactly.
butts him with the gun. So Mel, plenty of good lines today, and I knew you were going to be asking this, so I put little plus marks, +1 for each character anytime they did something I liked. And
oh, nice.
Mal won.
Nice. Oh, very cool.
That's
I like it.
That's a good way to do that.
That is a good way to do it. We might have to institute that, Bobo. Thank you. All right, guys. Well, then that leaves the last question. Based on this episode, would you want to keep watching the series? Would you want to see the next episode? Let's start with Paul this time.
Based on this episode alone, I'm indifferent. I wouldn't mind seeing it again, but I also wouldn't actively go out and watch it again. Like I would have after the previous episode we reviewed, the pilot episode titled Serenity.
Oh, okay. But we're having some fun with the visuals of the screen. Ken, how about you? Would you continue watching?
Absolutely. This one just keeps going forward, right? Because now you have this. Well, apparently this crime lord, now mad at you, right? And again, you're on. They're all being like part of the crew, not part of the crew. I mean, Shepard is still on board as a passenger, yet he's part of it, and the whole scene, with Inara, but Inara being on board, being a part of the crew, not playing out of crew. What's the mystery with River? We always know she's smarter than Simon. It's like, what's going to happen? It's like there's more to come. You're like, well, what's happening next? So you want to do more.
Two hands of blue.
Yeah. Oh man, the way they end it with that. Oh, so creepy. Bobo, how about you?
This is the best episode of Young Indiana Jones I've ever seen. So for that reason, I'm going to say yes.
That's true.
That's a good one. Good one.
Well played. Well played, Bobo. For me, same. I would totally continue watching. And dear listener, if you're like, Francisco, I can already tell you're such a fan of Firefly. You're just going to say the same thing every time. No, there is one episode.
There is?
2 episodes, in fact, I think now that come to mind where I'm like, I don't know if I would want to keep watching. I mean, I would
the one where they parodied Naked Gun was not.
Yeah, that one really, and also the one where they're like trying to get a document and they have to go and get another document signed just to get that document and get it out of a warehouse and from this other place. And
I
then
think
another document.
people in this entire world know what you mean by that.
I watched your last thing where you did the last episode, number 22, I think it was, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Jones,
right?
like, yeah.
Oh, I had no desire to keep watching Indiana Jones stuff, no matter how much you guys reviewed him. Okay. Except for the fact that historically, I love history, okay?
Yeah.
And the historical things of what he did, I would have loved. Like, so when I was on your show last time that he met Dr. Albert Schweitzer, okay?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, that show is just not worth it. So Firefly?
Yeah.
It is worth it. Go watch it now.
Yes.
On Hulu. It's on Hulu.
Very good. So that's where you can find it. Wasn't it on like Facebook for a time? Like Facebook bought the rights to it play it?
I know it's
I think that and Buffy
on all streaming premium services like iTunes and Vudu.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Of course. Awesome, guys. Well, thank you so much for being a part of this episode of Firefly. And let us know what you think at retrorewindpodcast.com/contact. Do you like Firefly as well? But for Paul, for Bobo, for Ken, and for myself, we bid you all shiny.
Good night.
Shiny? Space bugs, bite.